In this video, I'm going to talk about orders of correlations. This is language that's used in the context of semi-partial and partial correlations. So the first type of correlation that people might talk about in this context is a zero-order correlation. And that's actually the ordinary, regular Pearson correlation between one variable and another. Sometimes people call that a zero-order correlation. And an example of a zero-order correlation would be the correlation between years of education completed and annual earnings. Now, the next level of complexity is a second-order correlation. And that is a correlation between one variable and another, controlling for the effects of a third variable. And this chapter is devoted to understanding what that means to control for another variable. So I don't expect you to totally understand what I mean here. I just want you to get the idea that there's a zero-order correlation, which is a regular correlation that you are familiar with, and then there's something like a second-order correlation, which is a new type of correlation that involves controlling for the effects of a third variable. And an example of that would be the correlation between years of education and annual earnings controlling for the effects of parental socioeconomic status. A person would refer to that as a second-order correlation. Now, one level higher, a third-order correlation is the correlation between one variable and another, controlling for the effects of a third and fourth variable. So don't get confused here. There are two variables that are being controlled, which is the independent variable and the dependent variable. Those are two variables. And then we start with the third variable, which is the first control variable, and the fourth variable, which is the second control variable. And that is referred to as a third-order correlation. And an example would be correlation between years of education and annual earnings, controlling for the effects of the third variable, parental socioeconomic status, and a fourth variable, intelligence. So that is a basic introduction to some of the language of zero-order correlations and higher-order correlations like second and third-order correlations, which involve a control variable, one or more of them.